All right, so good evening, viewers. It's time for another very exciting episode of the Men's Lounge. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the month of June, and I want to let you know that June is one of the very good months, especially when it comes to all the brands in GMABC. So last month was dedicated for health. We did a lot of health stuff. We discussed so many health issues. And so this month we'll be doing financial literacy. We'll be talking a lot more about money, savings, investment. And it will be all over the place. So what I urge you to do is make sure you tune into all our platforms, YFM, Happy FM, eTV, and even join us also on all our social media platforms as well, which is Instagram, Facebook, and the hashtag or the handle is at eTVGhana. Now, knowing what we'll be discussing this month, I want you to start sending us your questions and your thoughts about money, and please make sure you relate it to relationships, because it will be very important that we talk about the marriage and the money. You know, it's very important. Some people don't realize that, but it is very important. We'll be talking about it. And so the WhatsApp line will be open quite early. You can start sending us even your questions from now, which is 020-2222-054. At a later part in the program, we would also open the phone lines, and then we'll have you have your suggestions and your comments and everything, even your questions, and then we'll deal with them. Now, another thing we'll also be talking about has to do with a new sponsor that has joined the team, and that is Yumvita, coming from the Progessive group. And so even callers, viewers, all of you are part of those who can win some hampers. I can give you some surprise before we leave here today. Thanks also to Korsah Brown Bitters. This show is being brought to you. I'm going to go on my very first break. When I'm back, I would introduce to you who my guest is. I have some information also on the various platforms I'm going to give you, and then we'll go straight to tackle the topic. Please stay tuned. Just joining us, like I said earlier, it's the Men's Lounge, which we do. We do come to the studio every Thursday at 9 p.m. And so, like I said earlier, we are going to be discussing money. We all love money. You know, when you hear the sound of money, you start smiling and all that, because money does a lot of things. And so we'll be looking at how important money is in relationships, in marriages, and how really money is important to us in our daily lives and everything. Before I proceed, I'll take you through some few information that we have for you. So June is the Financial Literacy Month on eTV, Ghana, Happy FM, and then YFM. So I urge you all to tune into all our shows to learn more about budgeting, saving, financial inclusion, and how to invest your hard-earned money. Be more informed about how e-money can make payments easier for you through the use of various online and mobile money payment platforms. It is the Financial Literacy Month on eTVGhana this June. So beyond that also, we are going to look at, there is this concept that we've been doing for a while now, and I'm sure this is going to be about the second one. And so Global Media Alliance presents its second webinar series on the topic, the impact of COVID-19 on the event and hospitality industries. Join Akwesi Ajiban, CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Bella Ahu, President, Ghana Tourism Federation, Ernest Boatin, CEO of Global Media Alliance Group, and Mrs. Theresa Ayode, co-founder and executive director for Multiple Concepts Group, as they share insights and ideas on the future of the event and hospitality industries and how to take advantage of the new normal. Happening on Friday, June 12, 2020 at 10 a.m. GMT. The webinar will be held via Zoom and also broadcast live on eTVGhana and GTV. You also register now on www.gmaworld.com. For more details, contact 020-2222-096. I repeat, 020-2222-096. The media partners are eTVGhana, GTV, Happy FM, and YFM. And so there's also something else, which is the Global Media Alliance. So there's going to be a live broadcast of the eTV and GBA Facebook Live as we recognize and reward outstanding companies in the beverage industry. That's what we call the GBA. So it's the Ghana Beverage Awards. I'm sure you are thinking what we are awarding. yeah, the beers and the spirits and all that, they also deserve awards. You know how people celebrate beer and spirits and all that. We need to also give some awards for that. So who wins the Spirit Beer CSR Company Local Beverage of the Year or Manufacturing Company of the Year, amongst others? So this is the information I have for you. Like I said earlier, we'll be discussing money matters, savings and everything. And today in the studio, I have James Korsah Brown. So James Korsah Brown is a consultant. He's a finance and trade consultant and also an NPP parliamentary aspirant for the Mfantsiman Constituency.
My brother.
Korsah, Akwaba.
Yeah.
For the sake of social distance, we need to do.
Yeah, of course, we do the elbow. Yeah,
exactly. And so, at some point in the show, also we would have him being joined on the phone by Amos Kevin Annan, a healthy homes advocate, and we'll also have to talk to him via phone, at some point in the But I'll prompt you before the time. Enti Korsah, Akwaba.
Yeah.
How has the week been?
Very, very busy.
Thursdays are almost becoming our new Friday,
I mean, the way it is, of course.
Yeah, because by now I feel like tomorrow is already a Saturday.
But do we still have Friday? Because you can't chill
you
out.
Don't get to go
that,
out and everything.
The new normal is some way.
I tell
but
you.
We need to make do with it.
We don't
have a choice. Yeah, we don't have a choice.
Okay, so we are going to go straight. At some point, I'll bring in a few researches on some of these things, on money, savings, and everything. Yeah. But talking about money, I kind of ask myself this question: that does money matter in marriage?
Well, of course, for me. I would say money is like salt. It's like salt in marriage.
Some people don't eat salt, though.
I know. But salt actually gives a taste. I would say yes, because, we always say there is a balancing act. We kakra. Of course, the love can be there. But you use the love to pay for the bills, the light, water bills, and or telephone bills.
The money.
You need money. Okay, so it's actually a necessary condition, but it's not a sufficient condition. The sufficient condition is the love. The love needs to be there so that, everybody can be okay in there. If the partner, let's say the man, for instance, doesn't have the money, but the woman actually does, once there is that partnership, love and affection and everything in there, of course, there will be peace.
There will be peace.
Exactly. But once the both of you are not economically viable, there becomes a very, very big problem because issues of bills and all that will start piling up. The school fees for the kids, who is going to pay? And when others start entering your homes, trying to take responsibility for all this, of course, they will start taking advantage of the home as well. So it's always important that at least, we are not saying that you should get all the monies in the world. The little ones that you can use to sort out the bills and all that, of course, it has to be.
So starting your delivery, you said money is like the salt, all right?
Yeah.
And so then I consider that as part of the ingredients that is needed in a good.
But it's not the only ingredient.
It is not, but it's part of the ingredient.
Part of it.
And so
it's like the air you breathe.
And so, for 100%, what percentage will money be in a marriage to you?
Well, I was call money 20%.
Oh, 20?
Yes.
So then it's not really, a big deal.
Well.
Because I know there are relationships and marriages that there's so much conflict, out of the fact that money is, even the discussion of money alone is already a big deal.
You'll be surprised that constant called money, which is 20%, is probably bigger than all the other ingredients. Because the other ingredients I'm talking about, trust is one of them. Love is one of them. Respect is one of them. So you can have about 10 or a bouquet of those entities in there. You score them 8%, 7%, 12%, and money is still the biggest constant, which is key. So it's not negligible, even though it's 20%. Money plays an instrumental role. Of course, you can't say that money is more important than the air we breathe. But money is a medium of exchange for everything that we do in this world. We are no more practicing barter. Okay,
and even though cash,
everything is cash. Exactly. So it's very, very. But like I keep saying, it is, and what's the name? It's a necessary condition, but it's not a sufficient condition. That's not the only thing that can make marriage really hold.
So would you say it's not really a big deal?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a big deal.
So it's not.
I won't say it's a big deal. But what I can say is, without the other ingredient, like you rightly call it, supporting money alone cannot sustain marriage. Yes.
Well, so on that note, to be able to put a couple at peace when it comes to the discussion of money, I'm sure you want to look at probably budgeting, but there's always the bills and how you're going to go about the bills and everything. So how important is budgeting to the marriage?
It's very important because of once you are coming from your home, she's also coming from her home. She has her own cost outline. You probably have yours, but once you guys combine as partners or couples, it generates an extra cost. So now it's not just about your cost of maybe clothing and all that, okay, and it's not just about her cost. There is an extra cost. So it means that the two of you definitely have to sit and see how that cost can be apportioned. And if one person is supposed to take responsibility, then it should be sorted out properly so that nobody will be taken by surprise. Because you know those days when you were single, you just get your suit, your shoe, you are out there, exactly. Yeah. But once you become a couple, there is an extra responsibility that you definitely have to. But budgeting is very, very important. You have to do your expense and your revenue. But most importantly, what you see is most let's say the couples are salaried workers, so their revenue line is only one. That's at the end of the month. However, they have a lot of expense. Okay, so it is when the third expense line, which is what was generated when the two became one, that is, you guys became couple, when it's in excess of what you guys were actually paying for, then it becomes problematic because you are still earning the same revenue. You understand? The same revenue, and now there is an additional expense. So how do you sort that one out?
So which part of the saved revenue goes to that expenditure?
So that is where you also need to understand or probably know that times have changed. So you have to change the way. Maybe you have to cut down some cost, or you have to find another revenue line that can foot that bill.
But you know, Korsah, I have heard in several relationships where even the discussion of money sometimes can become a problem, and it causes a lot of discomfort, in a lot of relationships. So then what I would want to know is that if even the discussion alone can be that uncomfortable, how should couples go about it if the intent is there to want to have that discussion and try to keep some kind of peace when it comes to the discussion of money?
For me, I think it's the question should be, when do you usually have that discussion?
So when
it's usually at the point of expense that discussion is held. That one will be very problematic. Like the two of you are home and they just bring a bill, and you guys, nobody's ready to pay. It becomes problematic. But if there can be proper planning, we've just started the month. We know that at the end of the month there will be water bill. Okay, so whose responsibility will that be? Maybe it's you.
Isn't it supposed to be the man? Really, in our kind of society, it's seen as though the man is the head and everything. So
no, it depends. It depends. There is something called equity model.
Okay.
And there is another called equality model. Okay. I'll give you an example. So if, I don't want to mention any profession, but if I'm earning 1,000 Ghana cedis per the profession or where I find myself, and my wife is earning 6,000 Ghana cedis, that's 5,000 Ghana cedis more. At the end of the month, who is supposed to, who will be paying the bills?
The head of the family. Exactly.
You understand? So that is what is called equity model. Okay. Who actually earns more, pays more.
Pays more.
Yes.
Just like taxation.
Exactly. That's equity model. And equality model is saying that once you are the head of the perceived head of the house, that is the man, you have to pay more. But that one is problematic because our society actually, current society actually empowers women. You get what I'm saying? It empowers women, and women can actually make more. Women, they are better managers of money, and they can save more as well. So when it comes to expense, you have to. There have to be a balance.
But how do they do it? Because they're always looking so nice and everything. And how come they're able to save more? I don't get it.
You don't know why?
Tell me.
Okay, so the lady actually owns her account. Okay, but let's say my personal account is supposed to be, whether it is joint or not, I own it with the family, because the first responsibility of every man is to make sure that you take care of the family. So your salary hits your account and it's everybody's money, but it's not the same as the woman.
So the man's money is for the family.
The
woman's money is for her.
Is for her. So that's the that's the difference.
I see. So then, I have seen a lot of problems in some marriages, and I've heard a lot about the fact that money is a huge problem. From where you sit, I'm sure you'd have a lot of experience. I mean, with people who come to you and people who you consult with and all that. Is money really such a problem? You know, does it cause problems in marriages?
Money ideally shouldn't be a problem. Ideally,
but it looks like it is.
This is the reason why I say so, because it is only when your expense line is more than your revenue, then it becomes problematic. But if you have so much to spend, or your revenue is way in excess of your expense, then it's not a problem. What actually happens is, like I've already told you, or the example I gave you, people tend to live on the same revenue line even when they marry. But you have to make sure that at least you generate more revenue to be able to cover the excess expense that has been generated by the institution called marriage. Okay. It's very, very important, or else you're going to have problems.
What are some of these excess expenditure? Kids?
Yeah, kids is one of them, of course. You pay school fees and all that. Once you have a partner, you have to maybe local tourism. Your wife wants to go to Nzulezo, she wants to go here, she wants to travel abroad. You understand? Yeah. Ideally, when you are not married, you just take your bag and luggage.
And you are gone.
And you are gone, you pay for your ticket. But now you have to pay for your wife, probably pay for the kids. You understand? So a lot of expenses come up, but you definitely have to generate extra money to take care of that. It also boils down to how you also empower your wife to support you. Seriously, I have friends or have colleagues who have been able to empower their wives to be business moguls. They didn't turn them to housewives. They became business moguls. They have shops. They started with one shop in front of the house. Now they have shops in the market. They monitor, they do distribution. And they are making so much. And all the bills in the family are being paid from the business. So the man gets to save his money. The woman also gets to save her money. So it also becomes your responsibility as a man, because you are the head of the house. And everything within that space, you are like the CEO. So all the human resource within that space, you need to find a way to control it, to make sure that you optimize it, to generate more, to feed the expense lines as well.
I see. So then, so in that case, it's obvious that some marriages or some couples may not, get it right. And I imagined it will be a reason of some mistakes, that couples make with money. What could some of these mistakes? What mistakes shouldn't a couple or a married, married partners make? What are some of the mistakes they shouldn't make when it comes to money?
I think they should be planning more, and they should be planning ahead. They shouldn't be taken by surprise by expense. As for expense, it will always come. Every day we spend on something one way or the other. Even with that. Well, what about our revenue? We never get lucky with revenue.
So it's the same stream.
It's the same stream. So end of the month, so you take somebody's bank statement and you have credit, that's salary or allowance.
They see debit.
They see debit. And sometimes your accounts will even go overdrawn. You understand? So planning is very, very important. Planning is very, very important. And I tell people that, see, we are all human resource. We need to optimize what God has given us. So that we can channel so much to take care of our expense line. So planning is very, very important.
Okay. So then it means that one of the mistakes we shouldn't make is to not forget to plan.
Exactly.
Because if we fail to plan, if we fail to plan, then we are planning to fail.
Exactly.
That obviously is what it means. So talking about planning, then I guess it would have to be with the goals that the couple will set for themselves, because then what do you plan for? You probably would have set some focus level or some goal that you want to plan towards, right? And so when should couples then start talking about some of these goals and the money that's supposed to probably go to settle these goals and everything? At what point?
Ideally, it should be before marriage.
Before marriage.
When you people start courting, because, you know, you were in secondary school.
I was
3 or 4 years, right?
I did 3 years.
3 years. After that, you got your certificate. GHS or GSS.
Do I remember? One of those.
One of those. After that, you earned your certificate.
Yeah.
Marriage is the only institution you earn your certificate before you even start the school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you earn
and
your
you are giving the certificate to start the journey.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not like the other bit. This one is more anti-clockwise.
Okay.
So there are a lot of things you need to do prior to marriage.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. If you don't take that journey, immediately you enter that space, it's execution time. There is no time to now unwind the scheme and no. So you have to sit and do a proper structure because everybody has his or her strength. So you need to sit and do a proper structure. So whether being it budgeting, being it whatever, you need to do all that before you enter that space, because when you enter that space, it's all about execution. Prior to marriage, you can call people and ask them, Charlie, 1 cedi, 2 cedi. But when you get married, it's tough. It's very, very difficult because they know now you have a life partner.
Yeah.
If it's not just what is within your pocket that's available to you, but your partner should be able to sort you out. So there's a lot of things you cannot do when you enter marriage proper. But you have to do all that planning
prior to the marriage.
Exactly, or prior to marriage, because immediately you marry, it's all about execution.
Well, immediately you marry, it's all about execution. We are going to go for our next break. When we're back, we'll go back to the topic and then we'll bring out more perspective of this topic. Please stay tuned. All right, so welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's the Men's Lounge. And we've been here talking about money, savings, and all the things that you need to know when it comes to money. So I'm going to start reading the messages, and also I'll be picking a call, just as I mentioned earlier. I'll pick a call. I'll make a call, actually, to Kelvin Annan to have a discussion and take what he also thinks about money and then marriage. But before I proceed, I have a personal question to all of you, and I need you to start sending me what your responses would be. So what do you think, or tell me what you think about joint accounts, like, you know, couples saving money together, whether relationship, marriage, whichever way. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. So before I proceed with Korsah, I have a message coming from Selassie. And Selassie says, hello guys, I'm Selassie from Ashoman Estate. Nice discussion, and no matter how much the lady has, the man's money will always taste better. Korsah, Selassie, really? No matter how much money, the man's money will taste better. Yo, this is also coming from, okay, so this is coming from Ebo Opoku Jr. from Anomabo. Brilliant as always. He speaks and understands every aspect of finance. Mfantsiman James Korsah Brown, the man to drive there. All right, I know where this is going to, and so we'll leave that here. And so we also have, hello, my name is Nana Entry Kitson, watching Men's Lounge live at home in Ashiaman. In a relationship, it is always wise to sort out for your partner, accepting roles for his or her well-being before marriage, i.e. clothing, food, rent, etc. Thanks. Okay, so Nana Entry, we thank you for your contribution. Korsah, I'll be making a call, but before that, well, looks like I have Kelvin on the line. So, Amos, good evening,
yes,
sir.
Good evening, boss. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well.
Good to hear from you. So, I'm sure you've been following our discussion.
I have a fair idea what it is you're discussing.
Great. So, so let me just go straight to the point. Does money matter in marriage?
Well, thank you very much. Money matters in life. And marriage is a subset of life. So invariably, it ends up that money matters in marriage.
So money matters in life.
Yeah, in life, yes. Because in life, you have expenditures to make from the rising to the sunset. You have expenditures.
Yeah.
Water, utilities, food, movement, bills, whatever. Anything you do think of. Money has to be exchanged. Money is basically a medium of exchange for goods and services. So if you want goods and services, then it means you have to expend money. In that regard, it matters. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, it's become a major problem. Money itself is not a problem. It is the handling and the management of money that creates the problem.
So would you say that the fact that money matters is also the reason why there's a lot of conflicts and issues in marriages, especially when it comes to the discussion of money?
Well, to some extent and in some respect, yes. In other respects as well, there are other underlying value systems that makes it difficult for the individual in question to understand all that goes with the handling of money. I have seen situations where too much money has destroyed an otherwise beautiful love relationship or marriage.
How is that?
Well, the parties, when they didn't have that much, were not that sophisticated. Money comes into the kitty, and because now it's like they've been exposed to an ocean of wealth or resources, they develop an attitude towards each other, and that complicates an otherwise simple and easygoing relationship. I've seen others too where the lack of it creates so much tension and animosity that they barely can see eye with each other. So you would notice then that money is a neutral entity that requires prudent management. Otherwise, everybody can be a victim of it. You hear people say, if I make more money, my appetite rises and my expenditure increases. When I disclose it to my spouse, their penchant to want some more unnecessary stuff also increases. So it's got to do with the management of it. So many would say, I will not let my spouse know lest they would come with high demands.
So that actually leads on to the next question I was going to ask you. That so do you think it's important for the spouses to know each other's salaries or how much they make and what they use their monies personally for? Is it something that's very important?
All right, okay. The situation is that I'm married to you, and when I'm married to you, my whole life is laid bare as an open book to you. If I can strip myself naked in front of you and promise you have all my heart, what else can't I be transparent about? And when it comes to money, there are two streams. One is inflows, the other is expenditure. Now, if I don't know how much comes into the kitty, wouldn't I be overspending or even spending what I don't have and get into a state of indebtedness? So there's a need for people on the onset, right from the word go, to learn how they can manage that situation of being transparent with how much they have and how much they do not have. Because people have expectations. If the person you are married to knows how much you earn, they become far more reasonable in their support of you in the relationship or marriage. The way it is that they are blinded to what you have or what you don't have, and therefore take to assumptions and second guessing. They may be guessing you have more than you even have. And that can be a very complex situation to manage. And I see a lot of people in that situation. In this COVID season, many husbands have lost their jobs.
Yep.
And when you look at the data, more men have lost jobs than females. More men have died as well.
Yeah.
More men have been infected as well. Now, that puts a lot of men under so much stress. So if your spouse didn't know that you didn't have so much and had always held an assumption that you have so much, they may be holding you to something that is not real.
Yeah.
And that hurts. You know, she wants you to buy a Lexus for her. But your money cannot even buy Passat. So what do? It will be good on your behalf to try and be transparent with what you have and what you do not have.
Yeah.
So that you'll be able to work seamlessly and harmoniously. Otherwise, you'll be second guessing each other, and that will keep bringing tension and rift between you.
Well, it's
not about joint account or not having joint account.
Yeah.
Many have prescribed joint accounts, but you see, I've handled cases and I've seen that the couple will not be able to do well with joint account. They would always have issues. So what we would propose for such a couple would be create a separate holding account where both of you make lodges into for expenditures at home or for the upkeep of the family or the expenditure on school, bills and other things or projects. Then you can keep your individual account and run it. But just be sure that you're transparent. Don't say you don't have money when you're giving it to side chicks. Don't say you don't have money when you're spending it on boys or girls activities.
Yeah.
Giving more to your old school or to your church. When your spouse needs money, you say you don't have. That hurts because once they discover you are expending on those side issues, which are not the critical issues, they will be upset and will be hurt, and then they will also look for a way of retaliating.
So Amos, would I then assume that your take on whether it is okay for a couple to have a joint account or not is that, well, not really yes or no, but you would rather a certain account that is being kept to take care of the home? May I ask, could I have that assumption as your take?
No. Well, to some extent, yes. But you see, where I say it, I would first have to do an assessment of the couple, their views and values when it comes to money. On the basis of those two, we would then look at the prospect of having those separate streams of accounts running, vis-a-vis a joint account. Okay. Or a third option of creating a separate holding account. And I've seen that those who have a separate holding account where they are both joint signatories to the account, they don't have a lot of tension. But where it is that we put all the money in one kitty, and then one party is the one who has access to the account, and then they expend it as and when they will. When you need money, there's nothing there. That creates, defeat. And people begin to then fight, and there are so many of such cases where a lot of the women have given their money to their husbands and didn't care where the expenditure was going, only to discover one day when they needed money that there was nothing there.
Wow. Yeah.
And that creates a huge problem for marriage. So to avoid such a situation averted, there's a need for us to look at you as a couple. What is it that will work well with you? It is what will work well that you work with, not what somebody thinks.
Okay.
There are too many of us who are working on with what others think rather than what works with us.
Yeah. So on that note, Amos, what are some of the mistakes people make when it comes to the issue of money in marriages?
Okay. Thank you for the question. I mean, the first thing I think people making mistakes around is that first and foremost, they think that money is a problem. That's the first mistake. The second mistake they are making is that money solves all our problems. I've seen that money doesn't solve all problems. The third mistake I have seen is that my money is my money, your money is our money.
Hey boss, before you proceed, there's some feedback I'm getting from your phone. If you,
really?
you might want to move away maybe from your TV set or perhaps some fan or something. Just move away slightly so we can hear you clearly.
Hello, are you okay?
It's better now. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. You know, the third scenario is the mistake where I see that and I hear it often. My money is my money, your money is our money. But people operate in this mindset. They keep their resources for other things on the blind side of their spouses and then feed large on that of their spouses. The other mistake I have seen is where people misquote what the biblical statement is, that money is the root of all evil. But really, that is not what it says. It is the love of money. This afternoon, I was telling my daughters that there are three things that really reveals a person's character. The first one is when they have power. The second one is when there is food to be shared. And the third one is when money is put on the table to be shared. And so there are people who need to come to terms with the fact that having money is not evil, but it is loving money and hating people or misusing people which becomes the problem. And there are people who say, for instance, as for me, when I see money, I don't know human beings. So when you are given to such a mindset, then it's a very dangerous situation you find yourself. Then also the mistake of stewardship. I've seen so many people who don't know how.
Amos,
yes.
I think I'm still getting that feedback, and it's making
me
very uncomfortable.
Really?
If you can still try, or
I'll have any television.
Let me get the production team to call you again. So
I'm not near any TV set.
We find it very difficult here. So let's just go off and then we'll call you again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, I'm sure we all had Amos take on all these issues. But before I proceed, so there's a message coming from Selassie again. I think joint accounts are often the best when couples, especially in the marriage settings, understand each other, trust each other, and have a firm plan into the future. But in a relationship, I beg to differ. Nana Entriketson, a chairman. Well, so Nana, we hear you. Thank you very much. This is coming from Akosa, Pantan West. Good evening, Nana. I highly support joint accounts. Why are couples okay with sharing their bodies, which they cherish much with each other, but when it comes to money, we want to go our separate ways? That's total deception. Korsah.
Yep, my brother.
Somebody says it's total deception.
So I believe in marriage. There is nothing like just joint accounts. Joint account is a product, okay? But what's the purpose? So it should be a joint account with a structure.
With a plan.
Exactly. You can, I mean, both of you can just open an empty joint account and to just be sitting there.
We have a joint account.
We have a joint account. Is that what people are talking about?
Maybe.
Exactly. So it have to be a joint account with a structure.
Yeah.
So probably the purpose of the joint account is to service the utilities.
Okay.
Or to service, what's the name? Fees, or I mean unforeseen.
So you're saying
issues.
there has to be a particular purpose for the account.
There have to be a clear-cut structure. How is the inflows going to go? Where will be the source, or what will be the source of the inflows? Is it going to be 20% of your salary, that's the man, 10% from the lady, and maybe 50% from the joint business we are doing? There have to be a clear-cut structure. And when there is no clear-cut structure, that is when, like Amos said, my money is my money, your money is our money. You understand? Yeah. You end up putting more in the kitty end. The other party will be spending more. So there have to be a clear-cut structure so that we can all be clear in our mind that, okay, when we are sick, we fall on this joint account.
Yeah.
When our parents are having issues, it's the same joint account. They have to be a clear-cut structure, agreed by both parties, you know, so that they can move ahead. So for me, if once the structure is well spelled out, I'm all in for a joint account. But if it's grey, then of course I won't do something I don't understand. Okay. So I'll definitely not go in for it. But I'm sure most couples actually have a well-structured joint account, not just, you know, an obtuse one, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So before I mean, when we started, I did mention that we have a new baby on board, and that's coming from Yamvita, who are also one of our proud sponsors now. So Yamvita is asking that, is the baby 6 months and above? Is the baby getting ready for family foods? Make it easy for the baby. Feed baby Yamvita. Yamvita infant cereal with milk is easy to digest and has been enriched with Nutri-V. Nutri-V is a perfect blend of 16 essential vitamins and minerals, which includes iron, zinc, and calcium to ensure your baby grows delicious. Your baby will grow deliciously. Your baby will be there. So Yamvita infant cereal enriched with Nutri-V comes in 3 delicious flavors. Listen carefully. It comes in 3 delicious flavors, and I'm saying listen carefully for a reason. You may never know. I may have a surprise for you, the viewer. And so the flavors are wheat and milk, maize, wheat and milk, and then rice and milk. I repeat, wheat and milk, maize, wheat and milk, and rice and milk. Choose Yamvita and you are guaranteed great feeding moments. Yamvita, a delicious way to go. I'm going to go on on our next break, and then when we are back, we'll go back to the issue of joint accounts. Please stay tuned. Just joining us, this men's lounge time is not giving us space at all. But hey, we can still do what we have to do. The phone lines are open now. Feel free to call us on 0555 657278. 0555 657278. And I have a surprise for the first caller. So let the ball start rolling. Korsah,
my brother,
let me take this text message from our viewers and then we can move on. So this is coming from Kingsley, and Kingsley says, please, good evening. Talking about finance in marriage, is it advisable to share the cost or expenses incurred in the home as husband and wife? And then this is also coming from, well, the person didn't add the name. I'm going to take your message, but please add the name next time. Joint account is not good, especially when the man is not financially sound. So let's take the question coming from Kingsley. Kingsley says, is it advisable to share the cost or expenses incurred in the home as husband and wife? Is it advisable to share?
Of course, there is nothing wrong with it.
That is why they are married, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but you know, like I said, I mentioned 2 models from the beginning.
Okay.
So everybody will say, the man is the head of the house. So that's equality model, right? But there is something called equity model, where the woman is also economically active, hence should also contribute their quota to the expense line.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You remember when we started, I told you I'm going to probably have a surprise for you. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time, but I'll still have to have that surprise. So I have only one question for you. Just answer the question. You see this beautiful hamper from Yamvita. It's going to go. You have some baby at home, right?
Yeah, I have baby.
How old?
This is a grown baby, 4 years.
Still, he can eat Yamvita. As far as it's about 6 months.
I have another 6.
Another. So my question to you, Korsah, don't disappoint me.
Oh.
Initially, I thought of making you, describe how to fix a diaper, but let me spare you today. Or you can do it.
How to fix it? I used to do it. I mean, the boys are grown now. So.
They are grown now, so you've forgotten.
No, I still.
You have an idea.
There's still more babies.
Okay, so my question is, at what point do you feed babies with Yamvita?
But when they are getting ready for family food.
When they are getting ready for family food.
Yeah.
I was hoping to keep the hamper, but I'll still give it to you. So,
did I get this right?
Oh yeah, you got it correct. But before that, I have a caller. Hello, caller. Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from? Well, unfortunately, I lost him, and I'm hoping the person will call back soon. So, this is a beautiful hamper from Yamvita, and you got the question correct.
Thank you.
And so I wish to let you have this. Make sure Madam at home gets it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't pass anywhere. Let it get home.
She's actually watching. So.
She's watching.
Yeah.
Madam, this is a gift from Yamvita. Please, I have counted it. I'll send you the number. And when you get home, let me know the number, and I'll check against it when you get home. All right. And so let's go back to the issue. Of, I've been thinking. So I call it financial infidelity. I'm not sure how you'd want to put it, but how would a couple deal with that in a marriage?
I call it full disclosure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like my brother Amos said, if someone, quote and unquote, can be naked in front of you, then you can't hide any secret. So you have to share. My wife knows how much I earn, and when it comes to my finances, she knows everything.
Okay, the caller is back. Good evening, caller. Your name and where you are calling from?
Good evening. My name is Korsah. I'm calling from Pantan West.
Hi, Korsah. Let's hear you.
Okay. You know, I have a challenge with the joint account issue.
Okay.
You know, I'm of the view that once couples share their intimacy,
okay,
you know, and we all know how intimacy stuff works, but they're able to share it to that extent that you become one body, one soul, and you're okay with it. But when it comes to money, we want to go our separate way. You know, I understand what the panel member is saying, but he's talking about the fact that if it doesn't have a structure, if a joint account doesn't have a structure, it means it is no joint account.
Okay.
But you also understand that once there is joint accounts, it is presupposed that at least it is going to work. So that is the point we are looking at it from.
Okay.
So I believe that once couples are sharing their bodies, which is the most intimate that anybody on earth can do, sharing a joint account shouldn't be a problem at all.
So that's your take on that, yet?
That is my take on that.
Okay, so Korsah, thank you very much. But don't go yet. I want to try and just dash you something from Yamvita. And so I want to ask you a question. And my question is, can you name 2 variants Yamvita comes in? Remember when I was reading something, I told you, I mentioned 3. Can you name 2 out of those 3?
No, please. I only know cereal, but I'm not sure.
You only know of the cereal.
Yes,
well,
please.
No, I'm not in a good mood. I'll hold on to my gift. Maybe next week I'll give you another gift.
Oh, bad. Okay, all right.
But it looks like I just had a change of mind. So I'll give you the gift. Please hold on. My producers will talk to you, and then you can pick it up from the studios in the course of the week. All right. So we're going to continue. But before I go on, there is a message coming from Ketchson from Mamobi. Ketchson says, money is not everything, but without money, life will be very challenging. And this includes marriage. If you and your spouse have different spending habits, different savings goals, different thoughts about investing, or different fears about being poor, then financial problems will eventually surface in your marriage. Well, I am so sad I'd have to bring the curtains down at this point. There's so much we could have,
Of course.
Maybe we should have this discussion again so we can bring in all the other perspectives that we couldn't bring in. Thank you to everyone for being part of this show. Thank you to Yamvita for being proud, for being one of our proud sponsors. And then, let me not forget Casa Precon Alumo Beaters. We know you always got our backs. To the viewers, thank you for being part of the show. We'll bring you another exciting episode next week, Thursday at exactly 9 p.m. See you next week.